our Season 2 Invitational in Columbus in this very matchup. The mixture of discard, good threats, and a lot of removal to disrupt the combo, it's very hard on Twin.
Looks like Jace the draw here for Hawkins. Marzuca already firing off discard spells. Inquisition, Thoughtseize. These players trading resources very aggressively. This is the kind of game, however, where Jace can maybe run away with things if it lives for a turn.
Yes, but that's a big F against Jund.
Jund with a lot of answers to Jace. Hawkins will sacrifice the Scalding Tarn. Looks like he's considering a basic mountain here, and he is. And there is Jace. Pass the turn back over to Marzuca. Marzuca with a couple copies of Tarmogoyf in hand. Looks like a Scavenging Ooze too. The question is, does he have an answer for Jace?
Well, Scavenging Ooze kind of serves as an answer to Jace.
It's a workaround.
At least for a turn.
5 cards in the graveyard here for Hawkins. Here is Scavenging Ooze. Marzuca will pass the turn back over to Hawkins. Hawkins will draw. He's got the Jace active now. Swamp was the draw step. Now he'll activate Jace. So, time to draw and discard. And then Vryn's Prodigy will flip into the Telepath Unbound.
It's like Muldrifter was the draw for Hawkins.
Interesting. We have seen this a little bit. I believe Luis Scott Vargas was the one that kind of put this strategy on the map for Grixis decks. You can return Kolaghan's command, draw some cards, all that stuff. A lot of value to be had in this kind of attrition-laden matchup.
Right, yeah. I mean, I'm happy to get my hands on every single draw two I can find my copies of in these kind of matchups. And yeah, I mean, it seems like it makes a lot of sense, especially with the Kolaghan's command, as you mentioned.
Hawkins, you saw him discard Glenn Elendra Archmage. Now he's going to exile. Looks like Tasker's on the way. Looks like actually a pretty good turn here for Eric. There is Tassiger. Going to leave Go for the Throat in the bin. Going to tick up target Scavenging Ooze past the turn back. Scavenging Ooze is going to take care of Go for the Throat. Now we go back Marzuca's way. Go for the Throat, an interesting inclusion in the Grixis Twin deck. There are some trade-offs with the removal spells you can play. You kind of want an additional one in it. You kind of want an additional spot removal spell with Terminate. Go for the Throat, really good in some matchups, really bad against some others. Yeah. Affinity.
Good in the sideboard, though. I think there's one copy in the board, I believe.
Yes.
Gives the deck an answer to certain threats, you know, for example, Master of Waves, which Terminate cannot touch.
Very true. Core Firewalker as well, if somebody's feeling a little frisky.
Yeah.
Marzuca with at least one Tarmogoyf over there. Liliana the Veil in hand too. So there is Tarmogoyf. Part of the reason that Marzuca is not playing Liliana at this point is that he knows Hawkins has Negate in hand.
Mm-hmm.
So Tarmogoyf going to come down as a 2-3. Hawkins will get the opportunity to untap. Curious how he wants to use Muldrifter. He's going to start by ticking up Jace.
I don't see a big rush here for Hawkins to do anything with the Muldrifter here, because he can simply activate Tassiger. He's already got a good card advantage use for his mana.
Jace is going to slow down Tarmogoyf here.
Players in standard. Just to let you know, you have 8 rounds today.
Up to one target creature gets -2/-0 until your next turn. From the Telepath Unbound. Now we're going to move Marzuca's way. These two players buckling down for the grind, my friend.
Yep.
Nothing quick about it.
Which is fairly typical of this matchup.
You have to imagine that Hawkins has probably gotten away from the twin portion of his deck. Just not easy to cobble together that combo against Jund.
Yeah, some people like to leave in a little bit of it, and I remember Kyle Bogamus had some of it left in his deck when he played against Rabbits, but it is hard to execute the combo.
You kind of want to keep him off balance a little bit if you can.
Yeah.
Hawkins will sacrifice that Scalding Tarn. We're going to see a Tasker activation here in just a moment, I believe. Maybe not. Just a team that's going to enter the battlefield tapped.
I think the issue is the Scavenging Ooze.
Fair?
Yeah. If Marzuca's down to a single mana, maybe you can go ahead and fire it off.
Well, the ability all resolves at once, right? So if you activate Tasker, you turn over the 2 cards that go into the graveyard, and then you get 1 back.
I suppose it depends on the exact wording on Tassiger.
Because there's no, well, there would never be the opportunity for like a pause. There would never be the opportunity to give priority back mid-activation.
Yeah, I guess because it says choose, right?
Yeah. So I'm a little surprised not to see an activation there. It looks like Hawkins might just be working his way towards Jace's ultimate. There's Terminate. Negate will take care of that. Now, I do think that part of the reason Hawkins didn't make a move with Tasker is because he's wanted to leave this Negate shield up for some time.
Yeah.
Negate's going to get removed by Scavenging Ooze.
But given the slow pacing of this game, it's kind of hard to give up a card.
Yeah. Here's Liliana. This is what it was all about the entire time for Marzuca. There goes Tassiger. Ooze will go that way. Jace getting knocked down some. Raging Ravine the land, pass the turn back over to Hawkins. We know Hawkins has Mole Drifters. Now he's going to have to shift gears, I think. He also has Olivia Valderin in hand. Jace, nothing really to flash back. And hard casting a Mole Drifter on this board, not terribly attractive.
Well, it's, you know, Olivia is very risky here because if Marzuca has any removal spell, then Hawkins loses the last card in hand to Liliana Plussing, most likely, and that's a Mole Drifter, which is a really painful card to lose given how slow nutrition-based this game is. The upshot is, if he plays Olivia and Olivia sticks, now he's kind of back in the game.
Yep. I like the approach of maybe going for it with Olivia here.
It depends how many cards he has to draw into to catch him up from the damage that's already done on the board. He's way behind right now.
Mole Drifter will draw 2.
I think a problem with the Olivia line is he has to go Olivia, say go, ping, say go. Then, and you're talking about 2 turns. If Liliana just pluses a few times, I guess you can attack the Liliana, but I think it's very hard to imagine your Olivia survives and takes over the game.
I suppose part of the reason Mole Drifter is attractive here is because he can finish off Liliana.
Yeah.
We'll see what Marzuca's play is right now. It's a Dark Confidant. It's a pretty good turn. Though this is doable here for Hawkins. Scavenging is going to come across after Jace. Surprised to see Tarmogoyf not doing anything here. We're going to see a block here, too. That's going to get Tassiger, so Mole Drifter is now going to lose. I suppose Tassiger... Jace must have targeted Scavenging Ooze. That's the only thing that's reasonable here. Looks like Marzuca feels as though he made a mistake. You can see a little bit of change in body language there.
And now with 6 lands in play, now the Olivia is a very attractive play because you can play Olivia and shoot down the Dark Confidant.
Yeah, I love where Hawkins is set up now. Yeah, you get to take that down.
He's back.
You get to play Olivia, shoot down the Confidant. You've got a 4/4 flyer in the battlefield, and if Marzuca doesn't draw a removal spell right away, this game might just be over. Jace is going to move up, target the Scavenging Ooze. I want to kill Dark Confidant right now. I don't want to get too cute.
Especially in a spot here where Marzuca is kind of on removal spell right now or bust.
Yeah.
I'm not looking to give him 2 shots at it.
That's exactly what Hawkins will do. Tarmogoyf Check the size in there. It's a 5/6. Curious just to see it not do anything last turn.
Yeah.
That Scavenging Ooze will be untapped. It's a 3/3 at this point, but actually a 1/3 because of Jace's trigger.
But now Hawkins is drawing to a lot of great cards. Land number 7 is awesome.
Yep.
And any spell is probably good.
Tarmogoyf free to come on in. It's playing against a sea of flyers, so that thing back on defense is not going to be very useful.
Yeah. But there's not really a great attack here for Marzuca. He's either knocking Jace down to south of lethal or attacking Hawkins down to 10.
Yeah, I mean, I think you got to start working away at that Jace, though, because, you know, if Eric wants to flashback something now, he's got to cash in his Jace. I think you got to do something there.
And if Marzuca's not one to cast this Dark Confidant, I guess he is going to cast the Dark Confidant. I was about to say, he's not going to cast the Dark Confidant. He should have gotten in with the Raging Ravine, because the Ravine here either gets Jace off the table or forces a trade with Olivia, both of which are...
Both are good.
Both are good.
Yeah. Lightning bolt to draw here for Hawkins. Take a look at the graveyard. So many creatures are down there when it comes to Scavenging Ooze. Hawkins just trying to figure out a balance here with Olivia. Looks like Jay's going to target Tarmogoyf now.
And I really like that, because now Olivia back on defense, assuming Olivia shoots down the Dark Confidant. Now Olivia on D blocks everything.
Sure. Fire away, take care of Dark Confidant. Olivia going to grow up a little bit. Hawkins will pass the turn back. Ooze is going to remove Dark Confidant. It'll turn into a 4/4, a little bit of life gain here from Marzuca. We'll take a draw. I believe Liliana.
Now at least there's some hope that Hawkins might chump block with the Mole Drifter and get Olivia off the table.
Gonna start, looks like, by playing the Planeswalker. Pretty good remand target here for Hawkins.
Yeah, he can't recast it or do anything else with his mana.
Yep. So he will use remand. Marzuca will have some mana left over for Scavenging Ooze, but a pretty healthy turn there for Eric Hawkins. Tarmogoyf right now a 3-power creature because of Jace. So Olivia currently standing tall on this battlefield. Marzuca having a heck of a time trying to figure out what to do. All he can do is pass the turn back. Olivia's going to shoot Scavenging Ooze. So now it's a vampire in addition to its other creature types, which means Olivia can have a little fun there.
Mm-hmm.
Pluto Delta the draw. That's land number 7.
And Olivia stealing a creature has so many implications here. Not only is Marzuca kind of barely holding on in terms of the board, but then if he takes Scavenging Ooze, for example, now the graveyard becomes unlocked. Now Jace has another dimension to it.
Yep.
The Liliana in Marzuca's hand, worth much, much less.
Something to sacrifice to Liliana.
Yep.
It's all pretty good right now. Hawkins will slow down Tarmogoyf a little bit. Here come the Flyers, turn in the corner. Marzuca will lose 8 life. He's down to 13 here. We know he's got Liliana in hand, but Liliana, well, it was good previously. Now it's simply mediocre. And it's going to have to be a removal spell here. He's going to start with Liliana. That'll be good to go. And actually, Hawkins even has a Snapcaster Mage in hand.
Yeah.
This is going to move down to 1. I like sacking Maul Drifter. Could sacrifice Snapcaster Mage, but I think Snapcaster Mage is going to actually be pretty good here.
I would like Snapcaster Remand as insurance. I guess the argument for sacrificing the Snapcaster is that next turn you can have your Mold Drifter finish Liliana, your Olivia attacks uncontested, you steal a Tarmogoyf. It's a pretty good line.
I'll also just say, you know what? You can just have that Scavenging Ooze back.
Yep.
And I think I'm okay with that as well. It's not like he's activating Scavenging Ooze.
Right,
Yeah.
you know, it's. I think the Snapcaster Mage with the Remain in the graveyard is valuable enough that, you know, this is the way to do it.
Jace's going to fall to 2. No flashbacking to be done. Marzuca with just a land in hand, trying to represent some strength, but he'll just play it. Lightning Bolt going upstairs. Maybe looking to get this one over with. He does have Snapcaster plus Lightning Bolt, so I think this is just over right now. As Hawkins going to untap, he'll draw. Here comes a pretty healthy attack. And once the Snapcaster Mage resolves, Lightning Bolt will too. And Eric Hawkins is going to move forward here, it looks like. Win this match over Jose David Marzuca, 2-1. Gritz's twin takes care of Jund. And for Hawkins, number 6 on our Season 4 leaderboard, 10-1 now.
Yeah, did a really good job of navigating that game. Kind of, you know, the decision there was on Mold Drifter versus Olivia. And I think the Mold Drifter line gave him the most insurance against Liliana, gave him an opportunity to set up Olivia with more mana in play, which is significant because the next turn Olivia was able to immediately take out Dark Confidant. And from there, an unchecked Olivia was too much for Marzuca to handle.
Congratulations to Eric Hawkins. He is now 10-1. He was in 3rd place coming into the round. He won. Todd Anderson won, so maybe we get that match next round.
Yeah.